Hey everyone! Welcome to Turkish series stars. All the juicy details are in this video, so stay with us until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and share if you enjoy following the latest whispers from set life and beyond. Now, let's dive into what has everyone talking about Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda. They tried to keep it off the radar. From the moment their scenes together on the hit series Yali Kapkini ignited that undeniable spark, both Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda insisted that what fans were picking up was just the warmth of a good partnership. They chose their words carefully in interviews, they brushed off questions with a smile, and they moved on. But even when two people try to stay out of the spotlight, the smallest detail can set off a storm, especially when it's as elegantly staged as a message tucked inside an orchid bouquet. Late last night, Cemre Arda posted a photo to her social media that stopped her followers mid-scroll. It was minimalist and luminous, a bright living room corner, a polished surface, and there, drawing every eye, a bouquet of white orchids arranged with the kind of restraint that screams intention. A small card sat at the base, angled just so. And on the card, a line that set timelines racing, "Together we are beautiful. GY." Within moments, comments piled up. The image drew waves of likes, then a tide. Cemre didn't tag anyone, and she offered no hint in her caption. That silence, instead of cooling the moment, fanned it. Screenshots spread, theories bloomed, and threads unfolded at reckless speed. The initials, however, did their work instantly. Followers knew exactly who GY was, and the idea that this was not a random act but a deliberate declaration took hold. Then came the detail that pushed curiosity into confirmation. Insiders whispered, and not long after, a florist's assistant, speaking off the record, of course, hinted that the order had been placed under a private account long associated with the handsome actor. Arranging delivery in the evening, specifying white orchids, adding a simple note, and requesting discretion, everything about it sounded like something planned to look effortless while actually being the very opposite. If this all feels familiar, it's because these two have a history of setting the rumor mill spinning by simply existing in the same frame. Not too long ago, they were sighted in Paris, moving comfortably through the city's grey streets and golden evenings. They didn't pose together, didn't craft a joint post, didn't hand the public an official record. But they also didn't look like people hiding from each other. Those sightings hung in the air afterward, like perfume that lingers in a scarf. Fans watched, remembered, and waited for the next clue. Now, the clue has arrived in orchid white. Sources close to Gökberk say the timing was no accident. Cemre's been juggling long days and longer nights, and morale can dip when the schedule refuses to bend. He wanted, the story goes, to remind her that she's not navigating this rush alone. A grand gesture would have been out of character. Something soft and personal felt right, and so the orchids were chosen. The note was brief on purpose, the initials doing the talking, the meaning leaving little room for misreading. Cemre, for her part, was said to be moved, really, genuinely moved. She's been described by friends as someone who appreciates specifics, the right words, the right flowers, the sense that someone knows how to meet her without noise. It was a very special gesture, she reportedly confided, the kind of line that sounds simple unless you know how rarely she lets a line like that slip. The reaction online? Predictable and still astonishing. Comments that were once coy turned bolder. People wrote that the pretense was finished, that the phrase on the card said more than a staged red carpet might. Some still held out that a beautiful note can be platonic, that the world needs more kindness without attachment. But the dominant chorus said the same thing, in 100 different ways: we see you, and we see what you feel for each other. The phrase "together we are beautiful" began trending, floating from one platform to the next, reshaped into captions, set to music and edits, printed in bold under their photos. All of this leads to that inevitable question behind closed doors: is this a rekindling or has it been quietly alive this whole time? Those who remember the early days on set recall a closeness that felt organic, a language built from eye contact and shared timing. Those who watched Paris unfold from afar remember how they seemed to move in tandem even when they weren't touching. And those who saw the orchids last night are saying the quiet part out loud: this isn't a beginning so much as a rare moment of admission. Despite the uproar, Gökberk has not delivered a formal statement. He's left the card to do the talking, which might be the most deliberate move of all. Cemre has also kept her voice steady and her captions spare. Still, absence of comment is not absence of story, and right now the story is writing itself, line by line, in the hearts of the people following them. When a single picture carries this much, you have to ask if a press release could say more. From a distance, it might look like just another episode in the never-ending show of celebrity romance. But fans of these two know the difference. They've watched the years in small pieces, the shared laughter during interviews, the unforced care when one speaks about the other, the kindness threading through even the most tired days on set. Sometimes, a relationship doesn't need a label to be understood. Sometimes, a relationship is understood because the people inside it don't force it into a pose. Let's talk about the orchids themselves, because those details matter. White orchids are not casual. They carry grace, they carry calm, and they carry a promise of lasting beauty without shouting for attention. When someone chooses orchids, they're not making noise, they're leaving a mark that lasts longer than a headline. The way the bouquet was styled, sleek and contained, no extra frill, mirrors the way their bond has always appeared. Nothing gaudy. Nothing overly staged. Just intention, and an invitation to notice if you're paying attention. The florist leak, too, played its part. It's one thing to guess, it's another to know. The story that drifted out from behind the counter made people feel they were inside the moment, watching it being put together ribbon by ribbon. That kind of intimacy is rare, and it's why the buzz didn't fade by morning. People woke up still thinking about the note, still repeating the line, still arguing over what it all meant. Fans who never tire of their Paris chapter reminded everyone that sightings weren't accidents, they were footprints. Considering how careful both of them are, those who pay attention believe that being seen that time meant something. Maybe it was an experiment in living out loud. Maybe it was just two people enjoying a city. Either way, it created an archive of memory the audience has been using to decode last night's quiet announcement. Industry voices are already weighing in. Some call it a reconciliation, others say it's the unveiling of a long-standing truth. What few are doing is denying the tenderness of the gesture. Even skeptics, even those who insist on reading everything as a campaign, admit that the card's wording possesses a softness too precise to be random. And then, of course, there are the initials, no escape hatch there, no plausible deniability. When your name is right there, the world meets you where you stand. It's also telling that the beloved pair has stuck to describing their connection in careful terms. They never lied. They just kept their language gentle and their circles tight. Maybe they didn't want what they feel to be eaten alive by the cycle of gossip. Maybe they wanted it to mature on its own. Either way, their approach makes what happened last night feel earned. We should note, too, that Cemre's friends say the timing couldn't have been better. Work has been demanding, creative risks have been taken, every hour has asked more. In the middle of all that, relief arrived not as a grand show but as a quiet sign: I see you. I know what lifts you. I'm here. And that kind of comfort, offered at the right moment, can melt the hardest week. Meanwhile, Gökberk's camp hasn't broken silence. No denial, no confirmation, which in today's climate might be the most eloquent form of agreement. If the aim was to let the gesture breathe, it's working. The conversation is big, but it's also strangely respectful. People are speaking as if they've been invited to witness something, not tear it apart. Some fans sent messages that felt like cheers. The hiding days are done, you fit so well together, we knew all along. Others praised the restraint, thanking them for showing romance without spectacle. You could feel, reading through the live commentary, that what people wanted most wasn't a viral moment, it was a sense that this is real, and that real can survive attention. If their history has taught us anything, it's that what happens on a set doesn't always stay there. Chemistry like theirs has a way of spilling into the spaces between takes and out into the world. Yali Kapkini gave them the stage, life gave them the rest. And last night, a line on a card gave everyone the confirmation they were ready to receive. So where does this leave them? All eyes are waiting for the next frame. Will we see them stepping out together again, relaxed and unbothered? Will there be an image that catches them between laughs, or a candid moment that shows the easy shorthand they've built? Or will they continue exactly as they are now, open enough to be understood, private enough to be protected? Either way, the center of gravity has shifted. The origin of the gesture is known, the meaning is loud, and the sentiment is sweet. People are talking about them with a tenderness that's rare in this space. The phrase from the card is traveling through conversations in coffee shops and group chats. Together we are beautiful feels less like a caption and more like a thesis. And if you ask the people closest to them, they'll say the two have never been about noise. They're about small glances, about showing up, about lightening each other's load without turning it into a parade. That's why an understated bouquet can feel bigger than fireworks. It fits them. It matches their rhythm. It tells their story without making them shout. For now, the orchid arrangement sits at the center of 1,000 conversations. It glows in that photograph, and it glows in the imagination. The initialed note sits beside it, signing off with a certainty that makes explanations feel unnecessary. There is more to come, we all know that. But tonight, this is enough, a picture, a message, and two names that don't need further introduction. As the day wears on and timelines refresh, edits of their best scenes circulate again, cut to soft music, posted by people who swear they can see the exact moment when a line of dialogue turned into something else. Some say it happened early, some say it happened later. What matters is that it happened, and that we're finally allowed to acknowledge it in unison. Maybe, in a week, we'll have a new sighting. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of them in another city, or we'll see a flash of matching bracelets, or we'll catch a laughing glance at dinner that tells the whole story in the time it takes to raise a glass. Or perhaps there will be nothing at all. And the absence itself will be part of their language, a declaration that they owe the world only what they choose to give. Until then, the orchids speak. The initials speak. And the way the world has embraced this moment speaks louder than sensational headlines ever could. The romance that began when the cameras were rolling now feels undeniable when the cameras are off. Whether you call this a reunion or a revelation hardly matters. What matters is the feeling that has spilled out of one photograph and into the imagination of 1 million people. We'll be watching with you, keeping an eye on what comes next and how they choose to write their chapters. Whatever they decide, you can be sure we'll be here to tell you the story the way it deserves to be told, without noise, with care, and with all the affection their audience brings to them. Thanks for watching Turkish series stars. If you loved this video, don't forget to subscribe and share so others can catch up on the latest. More updates on Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda are on the way, and you won't want to miss a moment of what comes next.